I think that my poetry has changed in these years. Well, I think that when I decided to move to Finland, it has changed for many reasons. It has changed because of the context is different. I'm from Mexico City. My references are different, and so the influences that I have over my work have changed, and also the use of other languages as well. You know, sometimes when you are in the situation when you have to face dealing with languages that are not necessarily related to Spanish, in my case, it adds so much to your in a way vocabulary and the way of thinking literature as well. So yeah, it has been a positive thing in my opinion. Nowadays, it's more than clear that in Finland there's a big community of international writers based and living here, and writing in other languages than the official languages or even the minority languages. So we have writers writing in Arabic, in Spanish, in Chinese, in Burmese. It's amazing, and for that, in previous years, I have been also working to promote those voices and to try to open those spaces for the writers who need them, especially because I think that all the writers should be considered as equals, no matter where they're coming from. Especially if we talk in the sense of unions, for example, we tend to think in the union of doctors or the union of workers, and we think in all the doctors and all the workers. Why should we think that a writer could not be part of them just for the fact of not speaking or writing in Finnish or in Swedish or in Sami, for example? So yeah, I think that there are more and more writers, and we have to acknowledge that they are here. And in the same sense, to think that well, there is people that requires also the support of the Finnish institutions, because they're living here and they're supporting the country in a way. So in that sense, I can see that the future of literature in Finland will be quite interesting in the coming years, even in the sense of what will be the corpus of the literature in Finland, in what languages as well, and from the other perspective, I think that all these literature or literary traditions coming also to Finland open up for the local authors to internationalize themselves. One of the proofs has been that in some years with the work of other authors, we translated Sami literature into Spanish, and those authors traveled to Mexico, were presented in a literature festival. And I think that everything was possible thanks to this networking of the fact of realize that we are here, that we are also writers, that we have so much to exchange in terms of language diversity, in terms of literary references. And so I think that it will be nice to see the future of Finnish literature. Well, I'm a writer, I'm a poet, but I'm also a graphic designer. And actually, I'm supposed to be a historian. I actually studied history, but for different reasons, I dedicate my life to literature and design. And back in Mexico, I used to be editor-in-chief and editorial designer of a literature magazine. Radiador is the name of the magazine, and it's a magazine that I co-founded with another poet there in Mexico City, Manuel Vizcaya. And at some point we were financed by the Council of Arts in Mexico. And there was when I realized that I was able to deal with editorial and graphic design, actually. So in a sense, when I mix design, I mix image with my literature, it comes a little bit natural for me. And it has been also a possibility for me thinking literature from different angles, also considering the object, for example, as not only as a container of your literature, but also as an object that has the possibility to say something literally, by folding, by thinking in based and high as an image. So yeah, I tend to mix. In these years, I have created some visual poems as well, or pieces that have been thought to be played with musicians as well. I have explored the literature also from a three-dimensional perspective, like designing 3D texts. So yeah, well, I think that the visual is important for my work at this moment. Well, I think that literature is important because it's some sort of time expanded. It's a way in which you can have access to life experiences and ways of seeing the world that probably you wouldn't be able to do it in your actual life. And for that reason, it's important to preserve literature. I think it's one of the core, the core things for civilization. We really need literature in order to see other things or to experience other things in way or in angles in which we are not be able to do it. And in that sense, I believe that literature is one of the things that can't be controlled and can be stopped in a way. Like literature will be there always, no matter what. And the proof of that is that we have, well, Finnish PEN has been promoting and supporting so many writers in risk, and that's one of the proofs that the writers, no matter what, they will keep writing and they will give everything for the right to say it, and that's one of the most valuable things that I think that exists. Another important thing could be accessibility. The accessibility to culture in your own language. Culture in close to the context where you belong as well, because you can say whatever you want, but if you don't have the channels in which those speech can be heard or listened or read, then it's also problematic. There's also a lot where we have to work on it. The access in the terms of writers, the access to literary translations, for example. We can have this wonderful literature with great messages, but if we don't manage to read them, then there is a problem. And I think that freedom of speech is very important, but also accessibility for culture in other languages, or the proper channels where those things can be heard or listened are also very important, and we shouldn't put them apart. So, well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here, to have the opportunity to express my views on literature, and I want to congratulate the Finnish PEN for their 19th anniversary. So I think that the freedom of speech and the work of PEN is something that has to be protected. There are so many places around the world where authors and people in general doesn't have the right to talk. And in places like in Finland, where we do have that freedom, it are the places where we have to stand up and step it up and promote the freedom of all those people who cannot raise their voices. Congratulations.
Estas letras constituyen la cabeza, los pilares de la palabra bisnauta, medidores del vacío, gases raros, entrada y salida pierden relevancia cuando tan solo existe un guión entre el espacio-tiempo, lo que podría nombrarse una metáfora del espejo de agua. Estos conductos, estas cavidades recolectan el polvo meteórico, las esporas y ozono que se encuentran en el viaje. El abisnauta recorre planetas, sistemas de antimateria, nanoespacios, y en la medida en la que se levanta bajo nuevas atmósferas, nuevas bóvedas celestes cartografían sus propios mapas estelares. Este texto es un astro. Por el rabillo del ojo, la expulsión de los gases. Dice Cardenal que todas las cosas contienen algo de todas las cosas, que Platón lo sabía al hablar de los ojos que están hechos de estrellas. El Zen hace un retrato perfecto. Si existes, es porque también antes de ti hay una no existencia. Sacado de otro abecedario en video, se nos dice que el escritor escribe para lectores. Vamos, que que el escritor escribe a la intención de los lectores. Pero si damos por hecho que el escritor escribe para lectores, también damos por hecho que el escritor escribe para no lectores. Es entonces cuando el escritor escribe en lugar de los lectores. Así pues, el para significa ambas cosas, a la intención de y en lugar de. Deleuze explica en la entrevista que el escritor también escribe no solo a la intención, sino en lugar de todo aquello que nos dice algo del mundo, pero no puede expresar por sí mismo en el campo de la literatura. La universalidad de la poesía.